Welcome to an Exile. How can the black circles under my eyes get any darker? Okay, today we're going to do the David Pakman show where he goes completely hysterical over Lorena Boebert.
Christian nationalism is, very generally speaking, a view where you believe that Christianity should be not only one of many religions that people in their private lives can choose to follow, but directly connected to the law of the land and civil government.
Okay, what David Pakman said specifically about Christian nationalism, it may be true about nationalism. The problem is it's true about every single worldview anyone has or ever had, including atheism. When you have a worldview, you believe it's actually true. You believe nothing else. And if you're going to construct a society or a government, you take your worldview into account and believe that laws should be that. No atheist removes his atheism from the law when he makes laws. He is marching to his religion, which is atheism.
Christian nationalism includes the idea that the doctrine of Christianity should be first and foremost and in the forefront of what determines what are our civil laws and civil government.
David Pakman believes his worldview, I don't know what it is. He may be a nominal Christian, he may be an atheist, he may be agnostic. Whatever it is, he believes it should be government. He actually believes he's right. Everyone believes their worldview is right. It doesn't make it right, but he believes his is right.
What is the line between religion and delusional mental illness?
I saw people at Davos.
Select group of human beings, because of whatever touched us at some point in our lives, are able to sit in a room and come together and actually talk about saving the planet. I mean, it's so almost extraterrestrial to think about.
Projecting their religion on everybody. I've seen Kamala Harris do it.
Vice President Harris called on the hundreds of black faith leaders to continue the fight for America's democracy. That includes the least among us.
I've seen Nancy Pelosi do it.
I was thinking of so many things in the Bible that would have been appropriate in terms of the humanity of all people in our country. The time to heal.
I've seen Joe Biden do it.
Catholic social doctrine that I was raised with. Right. The idea that everyone's entitled to dignity, that the poor should be given special preference, that look at the encyclical on climate change. It's all about, we have responsibilities. We have to husband this planet. I mean, and I'm excited, quite frankly, as a practicing Catholic. I am really excited by...
And David Pakman had no problem with it because their nominal, flaccid, milquetoast liberal religion agreed with his non-religion.
I don't pretend to know the answer.
Yes, you do.
Satan himself will call for the second coming of Jesus. He would say, I cannot do a thing in this earth with your people here. You come and get them.
Come on. Wow. Incredibly powerful stuff.
I'm a Christian. That is, I put my faith in Jesus. I lean toward preterism, which is the idea that most of the stuff in Revelation's already happened. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. So I'm just saying I will part ways with Boebert on this. I'm only saying that this guy does not believe in his own doomsday predictions about the end of the world involving climate change.
This, second coming of Jesus stuff.
We all heard when Oprah Winfrey announced Obama, she said, is he the one? Capital O. Is he the one?
Question that the entire nation is asking. Is he the one? Is he the one? South Carolina, I do believe he's the one. Giving us the audacity of hope.
That is all kinds of Christy language on the left.
Resurrection.
Obama was called the second coming of Martin Luther King. So all of this religious allegory is all over the left.
Define marriage.
I believe that marriage is the union between a man and a woman. Now, for me as a Christian, For me as a Christian, it's also a sacred union. God's in the mix.
Rapture, end times, this is all, there's different flavors.
It doesn't have to go down that way. Together, we can save Earth with science. Join me as I take on 6 world-ending disasters.
Like that the world's going to end under a flood in 2012. No, wait, 2020. No, wait.
But it is some combination of, there is going to be some kind of end time event.
Like polar ice caps melting.
Where the Christians that are alive and the resurrected believers are going to rise in the clouds.
I want to become a robot or become an artificial intelligence or become some type of super consciousness that might just be pure data someday.
And here on Earth, bad things are going to happen.
I hope one day you're going to see that person in the White House, and I will be advocating for life extension for you. It's a great vehicle for talking about how important it is to use science and technology to overcome death.
It's all pretty bonkers.
I put my faith in Jesus, not in my interpretation of the end times, and certainly not on David Pacman's interpretation of the end times.
And they use these beliefs to inform what they believe the law should be.
Exactly like every atheist. It was Kamala Harris who said you can be a person of faith and be pro-choice. David Pacman said nothing when she gave her faith interpretation that you could be for Planned Parenthood and all these things and still be a person of faith. That is a religious statement. It's her religion that she believes is true, and she's embodying it in law. Now, if you're a man of logic, you'll say the same thing about her saying that, but it didn't trigger you because it wasn't Boebert. I'll show you clips of end times people saying that they know that the world will end because of the second law of thermodynamics, that the world will end in a great fizzle out. The universe will fizzle out and die. That is a future prediction. It's a doomsday prediction. It is something they believe.
The very same place that Lauren Boebert gets the ideas you just heard, she gets her ideas about abortion, which then she uses to say, here's what the law should be, even though we're supposed to have separation of church and state. So
it is a philosophy to say that a woman has a right to her body, and then if an infant is born alive, that she has a right to take that life. That is a philosophy. And they put it in law. That's exactly what he is saying about Boebert. David Pacman needs to look in the mirror and say, I am Boebert. I am end times Boebert.
And her desire to inject this sort of stuff into civil government is an obvious violation of the separation of church and state.
That's not the separation of church and state. The church and state separation says that Congress will not make a law regarding the establishment of a religion. You can't establish a denomination. And right now, they're establishing an atheocracy. And they have no say about it, just because they think that by removing God and worshiping the particles and worshiping the pagan creation over the creator, they think that that is an acceptable religion to conduct our government by. And it's also false.
If she got her way, it would lead to an official discrimination and marginalization of non-Christians.
Like she would try to establish a law in Colorado to make a man bake a cake for a couple he didn't want to. That law in Colorado that secularists pass according to their worldview.
It is one of the scariest things that is going on right now as a movement within the Republican Party.
Yeah, well, if you're scared of Republicans do it, you can imagine how Republicans are scared when you do it, David. It's the same thing. I'm Doug in Exile.